What is up? I wanted to film myself riding motorcycles. I don't really have a good reason for it. I don't even think it'll be particularly interesting. I just wanted to give it a shot. I've always loved kind of creating little video projects and never really followed through. Um, so this time, I bought a $80 GoPro, and I'm using all of the things that I pretty much already had, including the Cena communicator microphone, this my phone to shoot from my chest. I bought a little cheap GoPro chest mount, which I know kind of looks ridiculous, especially when I'm wearing work clothes, but I just thought it would be cool to get a couple different perspectives. And I don't know, I don't really have any direction of what I want to do, whee, or what I want to. I don't have a goal for this YouTube channel, probably just to show my friends where I'm riding in the city. Most of them who ride are outside of the city, so it's just always fun to show off fun little spots. Unfortunately, there's not too much in DC to do for motorcycling, so there's no, dirt tracks, there's no street racing, or I guess there's no race tracks. I am just kind of cruising around by the old RFK stadium, which, if you look at it now, looks very decrepit. It is being torn down and being rebuilt in the next year or so. The teardown will probably be within the next 2 years. It's already started, and I'm sure the rebuild process will take a lot longer. Our mayor is claiming maybe 6 to 7 years. I'm thinking it's going to be like 15 to 20, but we'll see. These kind of capital projects never really take the length that the mayor is hoping for, but maybe one day it will. So yeah, I just wanted to film myself kind of riding around the city, show you guys the city a little bit, show you what I'm up to, and yeah, that's about it. It is like 5:30, 5:50. Just got off of work. It is going to thunderstorm tonight. It's currently like 100 degrees out. I figured I would just try to squeeze out a ride real quick. Just get out there and go on two wheels. I figured I'm probably not going to go very far before it starts raining, and I don't have any kind of waterproofing on my GoPro or on myself, so I'm not trying to get soaked. And the storm is looking pretty gnarly. Let's see if my camera is still recording. It is! Now, I tried this earlier this week. Tried it around Monday, and it was actually 100 degrees. Maybe 102, I think was the feels like. And my camera shut off after 2 minutes because it got too hot. And my camera was my phone, so my phone kind of just died. It didn't tell me. Didn't really save any footage, which is fine. But now I have a little GoPro, which kind of gives you this shot of my face, which just, I don't know. I thought that would be a fun juxtaposition to just kind of cruising around little suburban areas in DC or going downtown. You can also see my shining face in my helmet, which you can't really see, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said, no real goals for this or this channel or this video in particular. I am currently riding my Honda CB300R. It is a 287 single-cylinder engine. It is not the fastest motorcycle. In fact, anytime I go to like a bike night or a meetup or anything, it's always pretty much the slowest. And that's saying something because my last motorcycle was a Grom. And for those who know, that is a 125cc Honda single-cylinder, just super slow, super small, super fun to putz around on. And it was stolen out of my garage back in 2023, I think. I don't remember the exact date. Basically, I was living in Capitol Hill at the time, and I lived in my condo that I rented out had a mixed-use garage, which was half residential, half paid parking, and it became residential parking after 6 p.m. The thieves basically came in. We have it all on video. It's just never went anywhere, and I never got the bike back. But the thieves came in at 5:57 p.m., basically just walked right by the attendant. Attendant said hi. There's nothing for the attendant to be like, oh, yeah, that's someone who's not here to pick up their car, but is actually here to steal a motorcycle. So they walked in at 5:57. Attendant left around 6 p.m. Locked the gate. Of course, you can still get out of the garage, even if the front is locked, if you are inside of the garage already. So they just broke all the locks on my Honda Grom, walked it right out, all 150 pounds of that motorcycle. It's a really small one. And just walked it right out, and I never saw it again. It was a bummer. I did a lot of work to it. I got it wrapped. I put an adventure kit on it, and by adventure kit, I just mean basically like an engine guard and some. I don't know what else I did to that. Put an engine guard on it. I got some hand guards on it. I got aftermarket levers. I spent like too much money on it. Luckily, insurance gave me pretty much what I paid for it. It just sucked to have all that hard work. I took off the foot pegs and repainted them using powder coating that I no longer have access to because it was at my stepbrother's lab that he was working at the time. So it was like a bunch of stuff that like I was really had as like a passion project, and it was a bummer to lose that and kind of have to start over with this bike. It was fun, obviously, to now buy more things for this motorcycle, but there was about a year in between when I lost the Grom to when I bought this one, where I was just riding around on my old scooter. It was a 125 Lance Cabo. Lance is the American brand for about half of the Sim motorcycles, SYM. They had a couple Lance Cabo and I think Lance Havana. Sim does make motorcycles in the US, I believe, but Lance for some reason just took over, like, they did a rebrand for like half of their lineup. If you go to Europe, and you can ride the exact same motorcycle and or scooter over there, and it's called the Sim Croix, Crox. So that was a fun little scooter. I had that for about 4 years. So I had the Grom and the scooter simultaneously. The scooter was stored in a different location, so it never got stolen. Someone did try to break into it once, also when I was in Capitol Hill. Both incidences happened in Capitol Hill. Actually, there were 3 incidences. I'll tell you about the third one in a second. For the second one, you can see my reflection in the mirror. I got these gnarly aftermarket lights that are a little too bright, but help people see me at night. The second incident was someone tried to steal my scooter as well as my wife's scooter. My wife has a Honda Metropolitan 50cc. Love that scooter. They were both in the breezeway at our old apartment, and they were locked to a bike rack, both using separate kryptonite locks. The thief had tried to drill into my wife's ignition first, but the Honda 50cc's have a little plate that you can kind of slide that covers up the ignition, so they kind of just did a very poor job of drilling into that and dulling their drill bit. Obviously didn't do anything. We didn't keep anything important in that scooter. Her top case was unlocked because it was kind of just like a cute little basket. Nothing was stolen because there was nothing in there. It was just kind of strewn about, maybe a pair of gloves, cover. And on mine, they tried to drill out the ignition. They fucked up the ignition. It still worked, but it obviously had like a very big hole in it, and it didn't work for the thieves. They couldn't ride it anywhere, and they also tried to drill out my kryptonite lock. Didn't work. Kryptonite, thank you for saving my scooter. The way that they had gotten into the breezeway was they had just cut the padlock that was protecting all of the bikes in there. My neighbors hated. I'm not all of my neighbors. One of my neighbors, elderly woman, hated that I had my scooter there, but we had ran it by the HOA before we moved in, and they said it was all good. So maybe she tipped them off. No, but luckily nothing was stolen. It was just kind of strewn about. My top case was broken into. Again, I don't keep anything in there because I'm not an idiot. So they didn't take anything. I think they just threw like a manual in the trash or something right there. I'm sure they were frustrated. This was at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I have that one on video, but one of my neighbors had heard something going on and went out for a smoke and confronted the guy, and I think kind of just scared him away because he wasn't expecting anyone awake at 3 a.m. But the city sleeps for only a couple hours. It's not New York. It does sleep. Oh, we got a Cam-Man trike over there. Let's go say hi. Oh, he's about to break the law. Oh, he's got... No, he does have a plate. I am not breaking the law. Oh, look at him going all over the gaff. Camaro. It's not speeding too bad. I'm going 33 and a 30. But that Can-Am is a cool one. I like the Spiders, or whatever that one's called. I would never get a three-wheeler. I think they are a little ridiculous because just get a car at that point. But for people with mobility issues, potential limb loss, it obviously serves, it has its own market, and just people think it's dope, which I also think it's cool. I just would never buy one because I like the portability of two wheels. That is way more fun to me. I like the balance, I like the ride. You know, obviously I can't pop wheelies or anything, but you definitely can't on those things. I'm gonna turn left. He's probably just gonna cut in front. Rev my engine, nothing. He's gone. All right, dude. I guess I'm not making a new friend today. Let's make sure this is still recording. It is. I might actually be able to cobble together a quick, like, 10-minute, 5-minute video. I don't know how interesting this footage is. It's mostly just me rambling. The third incident where someone tried to steal something, like motorcycle, moped related, was my Honda CB250. It was a CB250 Nighthawk. These folks are selling some watermelon. That does look good, but I do not have any cash on me. CB250 Nighthawk, I had regular Phillips head screws holding my license plate, and they just kind of unscrewed it and took them off and left with it. So I had no license plate on that bike. Well, when I sold it, I reported it to the DMV, and I had to file a police report for a stolen license plate. That, of course, I filed incorrectly the first time, but yeah, it was not very eventful. It was just more annoying. I bought that bike for, I want to say, $800. It was totally a great condition motorcycle. The owner, I think, just really didn't do a good job of listing it, didn't list out any of the specs, didn't do really much research on it, I guess. He had used it as a secondary bike, or maybe he was teaching his girlfriend how to ride. I don't remember. But he had it listed on Facebook for months, and he listed it for, I think, $2,000. And I said, hey, like, could you do 1,000? Like, I think I could do that. And he wrote back to me pretty quickly. He was like, yeah, I can do $1,000. And then I hate being like, oh, like, let me ask for lower now. But my wife was like, no, you're not buying another motorcycle for $1,000. You already have a scooter. And I was like, what if I can get it for a crazy deal that, like, I just can't say no to? And she said, yeah, I mean, if it's, like, cheaper than that, sure. So I went ahead, got it for $800, paid cash for it. I wanted to just ride it home without a plate, but again, one, that's illegal, so don't do that, kids. And two, he said no. He was like, no, I don't want you breaking the law with my motorcycle, and it's still registered to me. So I borrowed my father-in-law's truck, loaded it up. I have a little ramp, and then my wife helped me unload it at the house, and I had it for probably 5 or 6 months. I rode it a little bit, basically just to kind of get back into riding something with gears, because at that time I was just riding my scooter, and this was in between the Grom and this bike. And then I sold that bike a couple months later for $1,600 or $1,500, I want to say. So I made a pretty good profit on it. I didn't do too much to the bike. I think I just did some plastic welding to repair like a crack on it, and I fixed the turn signals, because the previous owner had installed aftermarket turn signals that weren't congruent with the halogen light bulb that indicates whether or not the turn signals are flashing, which is such a stupid little thing to be, to think about. So I just had to get a diode kit, and it worked really well after that. He did not solder the wire connections, so I had to go in and solder them. He had kind of crimped them a little bit, but like twisted them together and then did some electrical tape over it. It was a little bit of a janky solution, so I fixed that. I can hardly say, I didn't really fix anything. I just kind of made it look like it wouldn't actually tear apart if you tugged on it too hard or looked at it the wrong way. So, did that, sold the bike probably 6 months later for about a $700 profit, and then I sold my scooter also for $1,500. I had that scooter since college, I want to say. I don't remember if it was college or right after college. I was still working retail, and it was my main way of getting to work. And then after I stopped working retail and went into the corporate world, I also used it to get downtown. Best, you don't have to pay for parking. I saved so much money riding that scooter, getting 100 miles to the gallon. I bought, I think, for 2,200, and I sold it 4 or 5 years later for 1,500 also. So all in all, I had about $3,000 to where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go buy a slightly newer. This is a 2018 Honda, slightly newer, not faster. That's not even. It's not even. It's probably a little bit faster than that old Nighthawk, but not by much. But just something a little bit more safe. This has disc brakes, dual disc brakes, one in the front, one in the back. It doesn't have ABS, unfortunately, but the stopping power is so much better than that Nighthawk. The tires on this bike I did need to replace. They were losing pressure, and then I caught some nails in the front tire. I'm currently just riding around the RFK Stadium. I'm just going to go in another circle around it and then head home, just to conversate a little bit further. But this is just a much better bike all in all, a much more modern Honda. The Nighthawk that I had was a 2001, which I believe was the last model year for the 250s, and it hadn't been updated since like the 80s. So carbureted, very reliable, very good motorcycle, just older, and I wanted something a little bit more modern with a little bit more safety features, all in all. So I sold both those, bought this bike for $3,000, which was a really good deal. I bought this 6-7 months ago. It is a 2018 Honda CB300R. Retail new, I think, is like $4,000 to $5,000. I'll put that up on the screen to what the actual MSRP is. And then obviously you have to tack on Honda's import fees, and if you're buying from a dealership. I try to avoid that unless the dealer really isn't charging any fees, which only happens if you go out to West Virginia, which is where I went to go get my Grom. This motorcycle also came from West Virginia. This one came from somewhere along the West Virginia-Maryland border, about 2 hours away, but was from a private seller, which is why I was able to get such a good deal. They had it listed again a couple months, really didn't do a good job of posting too many photos. They were originally asking, I think, $4,000 for the bike, and I was able to negotiate down to $3,000. And only had 400 miles on it, has about 1,800 now, so I put about I can't do math, put about 1,400 miles on it, and put on new tires. And I'll do another video later showing all the things that I put on this bike. It's been really fun to try to make it my own and really work with it. I love playing with Legos as a kid, and this is really just Legos and that move. I guess Legos move, but this is Legos that can move me. Is that the same Camaro that I had saw earlier? I wonder. The one that was riding behind that Cam-Man. White Camaro, I don't remember the top. I'll look at the video, see if it's the same. But I am turning right here, and I cannot turn right on red. I'm not going to film myself breaking the law. Not that I do that anyway, so. Your boy's a good driver. Good rider. See, I almost did it. It is not the same Camaro. Did not have the sale sticker on the back of it that the other one did. Both late model year Camaro convertibles, which I don't think they make a Camaro convertible anymore. I have to think about that. Not a lot of vehicle manufacturers are making convertibles anymore. I mean, even if you want to buy an Audi, I think the last year for the S6 convertible was 2024, so I don't even think they sell a new convertible. You have to go used or 1 year ago. But then you can still buy them new, obviously, 2024 model year, but it is currently 2025. So unless you're buying a 2-year-old model car, which you can't really find too much on dealership lots and whatnot. But if you want something out of the Volkswagen like family group that is a convertible, I'm just going back to the RFK. This is the parking lot. I like to ride around here, practice slow speed maneuvers, and clearly these folks on scooters like to practice their slow speed maneuvers here too. We got two two up on a scoot. But yeah, it's nice because you don't get any cars in this middle area during the day most times. This does turn into a big parking. I mean, it is a parking lot. This does turn into a big venue for, let's see, on Sundays, I believe this turns into a farmer's market on that side, like where I am now. And then sometimes, especially during the summer months, the parking lots all turn into like a concert venue, which is really neat. It's really cool to see. The other side of the parking lot, actually, I can take you over there now. I'm not doing anything. The rain, I probably have a good like 20 minutes before it starts raining. Let's see. But they have a big concert venue. Yeah, you can see these are removable pylons, pillions, concrete barriers. These guys aren't as removable as those. Those kind of just fold and roll. I do like riding on this little thing. I don't know what it's. I don't know what the original purpose of this is, but it's just fun to test my suspension. But basically, you ride through here, and on Sundays, this is open. Let's see if it is or not. I see a car over there. So presumably, I don't know if it's open over there. But because they have these gates up, I don't want to go through. But you can go through there, basically on the other side of the RFK. Let me show you RFK. Get a better view there. Kind of how really fallen apart it is. But the other side has some more parking lots where they hold concerts and such. World Pride was there. We got to see Troye Sivan and Renee Rapp and J-Lo, which was fun. They also had Vans Warped Tour there. We were not able to get tickets to that, but we were out on the Anacostia doing some river cleanup, and it was fun to hear, Limp Bizkit or Bowling for Soup or whomever was at the Vans Warped Tour this year. It's been going on for like 30 years. Definitely some throwback names, but we were able to still hear them from the water, which was fun. Because Anacostia runs right behind the RFK Stadium. Anyway, that's all I really got. I hope the GoPro's recording. I hope my phone's recording. And we'll see how it looks.